Well, welcome back, you guys. We've just had a 2-week break. It was Victoria Day in Canada, and it was Memorial Day in the US. So we've had a little bit of a break, but welcome back to RocketFuel. Guys, we are going all in on topics related to production in the month of June. We have a whole month planned of amazing content that is completely centered on production. And I know you're probably like, well, isn't that what we always talk about? Yes, we are always talking about anything sales and marketing as it relates to real estate production. But this month we are going to be very, very tactical, specific topics on how to get more deals done. Show of hands or drop in the chat if you would like to be able to do more deals in the rest of 2025. I think more often than not, yes, 100%, absolutely. Anytime I'm talking to most agents right now, that is the topic of conversation, is how do I get more deals done? In fact, that was the topic of conversation in a group chat that I'm in this morning, was, like, sales are down. How do we increase sales? So we're excited. We have some great speakers today that are going to dive in our producers tell all topic, and that's where we're going to start today. But Joe, I know you have somebody special that you want to interview.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and start this by saying we had one of our speakers had an accident and she's just not able to participate today, and we wish her the best, hopefully a speedy recovery. So like literally at 8:56, and this is the thing, like, guys, there's a principle of being ready always. You just got to be ready that when you are needed by clients, when you are needed by family, whatever it is, you just have to be ready. I ran out in the parking lot and I said, Ange, we need you this morning. I put together a post this morning giving her a shout out because she took 3 leads that we generated last month and put them in escrow. And I was like, let's just talk about the 3 leads. She was like, okay, cool. I have 8 deals in escrow. And I was like, well, that's awesome. How many of those did you put together in the last? Yeah, I was like, how many did you put together last month? And she said 7. So this is on top of being a wife and a mom. This is on top of leading the Joe Taylor group. She's our team leader. She runs things with Taylor and I. And so on top of that, she put 7 deals together. So I just wanted to quickly just kind of interview Ange. Really, I can tell you a few things I know about her. She's been in real estate for 7 years, and 6 or 7, 10. Okay, she's been with us, sorry, for 6 or 7 years. She came from the hospitality environment. She went to college for a really long time because she went to Chico State, which is like a party school. Where'd you go? You didn't go to Chico State. Where'd you go?
I went to like 5 different colleges, but I ended up graduating from Cal State Northridge.
Okay, there we go. She went to Cal State Northridge and 5 other colleges. She got into real estate because she was a beverage cart girl at a private club here in Las Vegas, and one of the guys she would always serve was a realtor. And he was just like, you seem like a great salesperson. Have you ever thought of getting into real estate? So her entry into real estate, I'm going to speak on her behalf. She ended up in like a real estate chop shop. Like, it actually was kind of a cool environment for her, but it taught her how to grind and work so hard. But she was working a lot of leads that were kind of the credit repair, down payment assistance. And so the year she came to us, and you had done, remind me, like 25 deals, 30 deals. How many did you do the year before you came?
37.
37 deals the year before she came to our company. And then in our environment, I think her best year, maybe 2 years ago, you did, I'm just butchering numbers, 58 units. And so all of that.
And then you can like put it.
Yeah, there you go. All of that's awesome, right? 2 years ago, whatever, 6 years ago, swimming downstream, the market was good, interest rates were low, whatever. None of that, like, it matters because she did it. But what I think is amazing is in today's environment, when interest rates are at 7%, only serious buyers are in the market right now. To have 8 deals in escrow, to put together 7 units in the last 30 days is crazy town. So Ange, kind of to systematize it a little bit, talk maybe about where your deals came from. So you have 8 deals in escrow. How many of those are leads? How many of them are friends and family from bingo night? How many of those are repeat and referral clients? Like, what is the construction of your escrows right now?
She's literally looking at her chart, aren't you?
She's looking at
my
her board
right now.
Well, there's a lesson right there. Like, track it.
Yeah,
Put it in front of you. Keep it visual, right?
for sure.
Yeah, so okay, so one that I have that actually was not from last month because it's a new build. So that came from a relationship that I built from speaking. It was the event that I went to in Spokane, Washington.
Spokane. Yeah, love is
Spokane.
Spokane here. Yeah.
Spokane. So that was meeting an agent and just having a good relationship with him. And then his mom actually referred me that deal. And then two of them are a double N that is also from a referral within our wonderful network here that we have. And then the other three are from a lead. This is the funny story. The other three that I have right now are from a lead that I got last year, and I'm now they wanted a property for just their cars, so that happened last week, and he started shopping at 650, and then what he was looking at 650 were not good, so I was like, hey, there's these new builds that are over here at $1 million. So he's like, let's get that one. So there's that one, and then his daughter, and then his son. So three of them are from a lead that I closed last year.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, so my question for you is, a client that closed last year, how did you get them into a transaction now, like this month? What did you do to stay in touch with them?
So they actually referred me their son, so they have three kids. What I've with them, I think it was the relationship there was just something that I cultivated. And I really, out of the couple, the wife and I just really hit it off, and we're friends on Facebook. She invites me over to her house. I keep in touch with her. We probably text like 2 or 3 times a week. So
Do
it's
you do you connect with all your clients on social media? Like, do you add them to Instagram,
yes.
to Facebook?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Usually I don't
Like
like to do
legit,
it
guys, like everyone has to do that.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that, I've done about 300 transactions, and I would say at least 250 of those people are friends of mine on Facebook. So not
So
everybody
when you get
Instagram, but
when you get a
yes.
lead, Ange, when you get a lead, you talk to them, you're putting them in the CRM, you're doing the LP Mama, you're doing all that, right? You set up a
Yeah.
search, and then are you just hopping on Instagram to find them right away? Like typically, is that part of what you do?
More when we close, I'll say, I want to post a picture of us. I'm so excited. Are you good with that? And they'll say yes. And then I'll tag them in that photo, and that's when we become friends on Facebook. Yeah.
Ange, what is LP Mama?
Well, I'm the worst at saying what LP Mama is. For
Well, we
me,
don't know, maybe not the acronym, but what does it mean to you when you say like you're going to get the LP Mama?
location, price, criteria, motivation. Have they talked to a lender? Do they own or rent?
Yeah, so Ashley, it's a great question. It's just an acronym we use. It's like kind of the basics about the buyer. Like where are they looking to be? How much are they looking to spend? There we go. Location, price, motivation. Do they
So
have an agent?
I'm
Yeah.
going to type in what I put in. This is what I put into my CRM.
Ashley, it's not the buyer consultation, it's the pre-qualification.
Yeah. The Notorious Big said it a little bit differently. He said, um, as soon as you leave, I'm going to creep up from behind, ask them what their interests are, who they be with, things that make them smile, what numbers to dial. Are you going to be here for a while? That's what the Notorious B.I.G. did to when he met girls. Angie's doing it a little bit different, like location, do you own or rent? What are your must haves? Have you spoke to a lender? That's kind of, we just say LP Mama to say, have you kind of qualified this person? All right, cool.
Yeah.
So you go through that process, you get them in the CRM, you get them closed, you follow them on Insta, you post a picture of them. Maybe let's take a few more minutes, Ange. Talk about your day to day, because you are one of the people. And I'll just tell you guys, in order to get what Angie gets, and I talked to Philip, my golfer, about Angie, because Angie, Kobe Bryant, there's a few human beings in the universe like this that Like I honestly think
Wow.
Kobe, yeah, she
I
is the
know.
Kobe. Um, I honestly think Angie is she enjoys the process more than the product. Like and you truly enjoy calling leads and following up with old leads and calling your nurtures. And so like what does a day look like for you? You wake up, try to get to the office by what time, and what does your day look like?
Hey, before she answers that, can I keep like highlighting these points because I think this is really good. Like, guys, add your clients on social media. But Joe just said something that's so important about the way Angie has been able to build this level of success is to embrace delayed gratification, fall in love with the process, not the
Mm.
end result. And I think so John Cheplock always says this too, is like a lot of times we don't need a million new things to be doing. We need to be reminded of the things that work. And I want to remind you guys, like as entrepreneurs, the faster you fall in love with delayed gratification, the more success you will have. Like if you can fall in love with the process and put yourself in a place of consistency and accountability to that consistency during the journey, during the process, you will achieve greater results. Okay, sorry, Angie.
Well, and a lot of times, to your point, Aim, a lot of times we want new things because we don't want to do the old things,
A
even though we
million
know the
percent.
old things work.
Yeah.
Like we know knocking doors works, yet none of us want to do it. We would rather get, pre-qualified leads given to us. Like we know that you can meet people at open houses, but none of us want to do it. We would rather, have a pre-qualified lead given to us. And so we know what works. The issue isn't what is going to work. The issue is, are we willing to do it? And Ange, you're just one of those people that are willing to put in the work. So talk about what your day looks like a little bit.
So my day, now if I take a lot of the team leader stuff out, if I was just working leads, I would come in and I have my system. I'm very systematic in the way that I work my leads. So I'll come in and I have, a checklist where it says work all of my unqualified leads. So all of that has to come first. And usually I have between 10 and 12. And when I
And how
say
do you define unqualified? Are you saying like not qualified
so,
for a loan or?
no, unqualified meaning, so when you have your CRM organized, I keep everybody who I don't have the LP Mama for in unqualified or attempted contact, whatever kind of CRM you're using, it's that one stage right after new. So
Right.
I will work that same lead for a 2-week period, sometimes longer if I haven't made enough calls, but I'll make 9 calls and send 6 texts so that I can get that information, and it has to be within a 2-week period. Because if you let it go longer than that, it could go into 3 weeks. But that person, if you don't get all of that stuff within the first 2 weeks, they've gone to somebody else and they've given
Right.
it to somebody else. So those unqualifieds have to come first. And I make sure I never let it go longer than 3 days before I've contacted them. Like they have to get a call or a text every day. Like it can't go longer than 3 days. I try to do it 5 days a week. Like I'm calling and texting if I haven't gotten that yet. And then once I have all of that, then I move them to a nurture or long time nurture stage. And then a
Yeah.
different kind of follow up comes with that. So there's going to be that first. And then after that, I go to all my nurtures, which at that point, I'm either, if they're in hot, I'm providing them with a new listing every day, if they're in hot, I have to touch them at least once a week, meaning I go through their search and I find a property for them myself and send them that and ask them what they think.
And
And
how do you define hot?
somebody who I think is going to transact within the next month or two.
Okay.
Like they have a house to sell, they're pre-approved, all of that. Then I'll go in there and
Okay.
send them at least 1 or 2 properties that I pick myself. And then I'll point something out like, this is the kind of kitchen you said you wanted. What do you think? And I don't always call. Sometimes it's a text. I in fact do a lot of texting, but I don't do AI texting in my hot whatsoever. Um, I have a list that I share with our team of like different texts that I send out. So with my hots, they're not going to get a shark text. That's another thing that we'll talk about. That's unqualified. But I have to go through every day. If I have nothing else to do, I have to hit those unqualifieds and those nurtures every single day. And I probably have between 20 and 30 nurtures to hit every day. And
Wow.
then once a month, now this is super important. Once a month, all of my past clients are getting some sort of client care touch. So I have a client care system where last month I sent everybody that closed, I think there was about 12 people in the month of April, and they all got a coffee cup. And every time I send that out of 12 people, at least 3 or 4 of them will message me on either Facebook or send me a text. Thank you so much for my coffee cup. Or they will put it in their story. I really love it when they do that. So I do that every month too, because a lot of my referral business comes from that. A $10 coffee cup can get you a $10,000 commission just by keeping in touch like that.
So you keep the texting going even if you're not getting a response?
Um, in unqualified, yes. In nurture, I will give them 3 months. If they don't write me back, then I have this like last resort text that I send out that we actually found it off of a guy on Instagram. I can't think of his name. Josh is on this call. He might know his name, where we send out like, hey, I haven't heard from you. Maybe you used another agent. That's totally okay. But I just want to let you know I'm here for you. And then I send my contact card. When you send that, people, there you go. Brandon, that guy.
Oh,
He's
Brandon
great.
Morinen, yeah.
What do you think about the did I drop the ball script? Is anybody
You know,
that?
the only time I send did I drop the ball is when I know that they used another agent. And I'll say like, can you tell me what I didn't do so I can improve next time? I don't end up, that doesn't happen to me too often, but
So
I will
I use the did
definitely
I drop the
ask.
ball if somebody's ghosting me, if I haven't heard back from them. Because I kind of want to just use a little bit of like that psychology where when I ask them, like I put in the subject line, did I drop the ball? Question mark. And I literally send them like, hey Angie, you had asked me about like homes on 123 Main Street. I sent you over a list and then and connected with you a couple of times, but haven't heard back. Did I
Yeah,
drop the ball? Because
yeah,
did I not do what you asked me to do? And it almost always gets a response because then people feel bad because they think I feel
yeah.
bad.
Because they're like, no, you didn't drop the ball. I've
Yeah.
just been busy. So that works. I also send Amy, like if I am texting them outside of my phone, which when we get to a point when we're talking more, if I text them outside of the CRM, I will send that GIF. There's one that's George Clooney where he's like looking like this. And then there's another Kim Kardashian one where she's like looking around a bush. If I send those, all of the people I've been talking to outside of this, because I can't send a GIF in the CRM, they always respond. Like I
I just
send them
read
like
an
the stalker
entire
thing.
I just read an entire article from I can't even remember, but I think it was in like Forbes or it was in like a really, really like high level publication that talked about the power of memes and
Yeah.
GIFs in
Hmm.
business. And I was like, it rocked my world because I'm like, I'm not personally into them, but it was like the amount of response and feedback that you can get from sending a meme or a GIF is like off the charts. And it doesn't matter what business or industry you're in. So
Yeah,
I feel like it humanizes us instead
it
of like
does.
all of a
yeah.
sudden, like
It's
if
the
you send
anti
something funny, yeah.
it's the anti-AI. It's like, okay, cool, we're dealing with a real person. Well, and maybe to just take 2 or 3 minutes, talk about discouragement. I definitely think one of the reasons you succeed when others fail is because I don't know if you just don't take things personally. Like people tell you to go F yourself, people don't call you back, people ghost you, people use other agents. Like, how do you avoid discouragement? Is it do you just have such a big why? And so it's like, I'm going to go through whatever I have to go through. Like, what how do you avoid becoming discouraged? Because I think so many agents get on the phone, they make some calls, it goes south, they hang up, they get off really quick because they just don't want to be on the phone with people. Like they text people, they don't respond, so they don't ever text them again. Like, where do you find your tenacity from?
Um, I I think that if you have many irons in the fire, if 1 or 2 people let you down and you have 20 other people that you're still going with, I guess I can't, the discouragement is not there because I know that if I call 20 more people after what's his name? We always call him the guy that wants to buy the house because we all know we have so many of those people. Like if I talk to Joe, he's like, I have no idea who you're talking about. You have so many people you're talking about. So if you are talking with 30 different people a day, even if 2 let you down and the other 28 are talking to you, there's no way to feel discouraged because there's
Yeah,
always more. There's no way this business is just going to dry up. If
yeah.
you are talking to, or at least sending a text out to 30 people a day, you're going to get 1 win. And I don't stop until I have 1 win for the day.
Love
Hmm.
it.
And
I will
it can be
say,
a teeny
Ange,
tiny win, teeny tiny, just someone saying like, thank you. That's enough. That's a win.
well, and I just think there's no entrepreneur in Angie's game. Like she is not doing this. And this, if this is you or your agents, don't take this personally, but there's so many people in the business who are just like, see, sweetheart, I was at the office all day. Like, give me a pat on the back. Or, like I called all my leads and no one was interested. And so they get to check the box of saying they called their leads. With Angie, it always comes back to, is she getting in a transaction that's going to create income that's going to enable her to live a great life? And so it's like, it's never, did she show up? Showing up is just the price of admission. Entrepreneur, yeah. She's not showing up so she could post it on Instagram like, here I am in my office. Or so she could text her husband and say, hey, I'm at the office. She's here because she wants to get deals put together to live a great life.
Yeah.
And that's something that only we can answer for ourselves. Like, am I doing this to create income that creates a life? Or was I kind of hoodwinked into getting into real estate because my wife looked at me and said, hey, what you're doing is not working. Go do this. You could be so great. And then all of a sudden I get my license and I'm like, well, I don't know what the freak I'm doing, but I've got to tell my wife, like, hey, I made my calls today. And like, that's just two different people. And the thing I love so much about you, Ange, is I just always know that there is no entrepreneur in your game. Like you are 100% entrepreneur. You're in this to win this. And like we saw it the very first day you came into our office. And like you're an absolute example of what can be done. You got into real estate at the age of 20 or whatever it was, 10 years ago. You got into real estate later than some people do. You, 10 years ago, you were a cart girl at Dragon Ridge. And
I was
now you're
40. We can say it. I'm proud. I was 40
She was
years old when
40
I
when
got
she
into
got
real
into real
estate.
estate. She's top 1% in all of Las Vegas. Like she
Awesome.
absolutely crushes it while running a team and being a mom and being a wife and
Yeah.
being a fun travel companion. Ange and Tim and my wife and I and Taylor and Kira, we were down in Tahiti a few months ago as a reward trip. She's just so if you guys aren't following her, follow Angie. She has some fun stuff on social media. She's highly inspirational. So thanks, Ange.
Thank you, Ange. We have two other absolute powerhouses here with us. So, Tien, I'm gonna get you to join us. We are really lucky to hear from this gentleman. Tien is an amazing powerhouse, seven-figure agent. He also has a small but mighty real estate team as well. But before that team ever existed, this man was in high production himself, and he still is to this day. And he's absolutely crushing with organic inbound opportunity because of his hustle, number one, because he's insanely good at what he does, but he's phenomenal on social media. So Tien, let's hear you tell all on how you're elevating in your business and how production is at the forefront of everything that you're focused on this year. Just making sure that we clicked you.
There you go.
There you go. There you are. Yeah.
Thanks for that introduction, Amy. That was great. I'm actually going to get pretty tactical here, just because for time's sake. I'm going to share my screen with you guys here. Let me know if you guys can see that.
Sure can.
Okay, so I'm Tien, like Amy said, I run a small real estate team out in Waterloo. We're about an hour west of Toronto. Today, I want to talk to you guys about just three things that's working well in our business right now. They're not groundbreaking concepts.
Ken, we can't see your yeah, I think there you go.
That.
Yeah, perfect.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's perfect.
Does that work? Can you guys see that?
No, we can't see. We can only see.
Give me 1 second here.
No, that's okay.
We see your desktop. We see your desktop, not the actual presentation.
You see my whole desktop?
Yeah. It's okay. No worries at all.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Sorry.
Oh, don't worry.
I shared the wrong screen. How about that?
Yeah, Bert.
Does that work?
Yeah.
So I'm going to share like kind of 3 strategies. I've actually cut it down to 2, but just for time's sake. It's nothing that you guys haven't seen before. We've just tweaked it and executed them in a way that's been really effective for us. So let me tell you guys what's working for us now. We do this circle marketing after a sale, and then we also do communities. These are the 2 things that I'm going to focus on. In May, we did 9 marketing consults. We call it marketing consultations. We don't call them listing presentations. Our philosophy has always been that anyone can list a home, not everyone can market a home. So we focus on these 3 things consistently since the beginning of the year. We've done 9 marketing consults, and 7 of them came from either the circle marketing, community events, or Instagram. We want all 7 of those listings. So I'm going to start with the circle marketing. You guys have probably heard of Jimmy Mackin. I met him at Rise conference in Vegas last year. If you haven't heard of him, follow him. He adds so much value to our community. He shared a ton of great strategies there, but what I found, there was one that I found that I thought that I could implement, that it was kind of just low-hanging fruit, and that was the circle marketing piece. It's very simple. After a sale, you send a letter out to about 25 or 30 homes in the radius of the home that you've sold, giving the neighbors inside information on information that they won't find online. I tested this in November when I got back, and I was actually surprised when somebody called. We ended up helping that person buy a home. So then it got me thinking about my strategy for 2025, and I wanted this to be one of my lead gens for 2025. And it's actually quite simple. This is the letter that we sent out. I've tweaked it to my market here, and this is actually the home we sold a couple weeks ago. We let them know that we sold a home in their neighborhood. These are the details they won't find online. We share the sale price, and then we break down what happened during that week. It was 20 confirmed showings, 200 people through our open house. We had 7 offers, and we sold it in a week. But this is the line here, the 3rd paragraph here. I think this is where we kind of get them. Here's what we learned in that short time. There are plenty of buyers in the $700,000-$800,000 range. 6 families are still looking for a home. They're pre-approved. They're ready to buy. And then we give them a call to action. So this was something so simple for us that we've implemented it the entire year so far. And how we do it is we write a letter in Canva. We've chosen to instead of 25 to 30 homes, we just felt that wasn't enough. So we actually choose 100 homes. It was just a random number that I decided to go with. We look up the address on Geo Warehouse, print out the label, check with your broker, make sure that you're allowed to do this in your market. And we checked with our broker. She allowed us, because we tailor each letter to the homeowner. We bought stamps from Amazon and envelopes from Costco, and then we printed the letter, and then we mailed it out. And each letter cost us $2.50. Very, very simple. And these were the results. In January,
Tian, can you go back for 1 second?
Yeah.
Can you go back to the letter? So guys, if you do not have a sale, if you do not have a listing, and you do not have a success story, I guarantee you there are thousands and thousands and thousands of agents across North America that are not willing to do this work. One phone call to those listing agents and just say that you would be happy to do this for them, get the stats from them, and they can take the credit with their seller if they want to, and then just send it out on your behalf. Because there's so many agents that are not willing to do this extra step the way Tian and his team are doing.
Amy,
So
I also don't know if this works on the buy side, and we're going to try this. Last week we had a buy. There was 12 offers, and we ended up winning. So I'm wondering, I'm going to try on the buy side to see if this method works. Send out the same letter, but on the buy side, and say, hey, there's 11 other offers that lost.
It 100% works.
Okay.
And Jimmy Mackin actually talks about it all the time. And we were one of the pilot teams that actually, if you ever hear Jimmy Mackin talk about the magic buyer letter, that started with us. So the magic buyer letter absolutely works, and you can take this exact concept. One of the things that you can do is you can actually just share the story and the details of what your clients are looking for and be as personal as you can. Like, Tian and John, are looking to whatever, blah, 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 them and their 2 kids are looking in this neighborhood, in this school district, their budget is this, et cetera, et cetera. So you can reverse it. But I would encourage you guys, like, especially if you're looking if you want to be a listing agent, circle prospecting is absolutely where it's at. But if you don't have a listing, do the work for another agent that's not willing to do the work. Just ask.
That's really smart. Yeah, it cost us $250 a letter, and this is the result in the last 5 months. So in January, I spent $500. We got no listings, no transactions. In February, I spent another $500, and we had 1 listing. It's $1.3 million listing. In March, I spent $250. We had a listing in Oakville, and we actually got a listing in Oakville. In April, we spent $500. We got a listing. We got a listing and a buy. That was almost a $1.7 million transaction. And in May, we spent $500, and we got 2 listings and 1 buy in our local market. So this really works. It was something that we wanted to add to our lead gen to see if it works. And it was like, I don't like spending money on lead gen and marketing. So I figured that this was like worth a try. And lo and behold, like these are the results so far. And we're just still kind of testing it, but so far so good. I don't know if we expand that out to 300-400 homes or kind of keep it in the 100 home range there. But I thought that it was economical for us at the same time, giving us some pretty good leads.
I just have a question: how you got a listing in Oakville for $400,000? I didn't know anything would be for sale for $400,000.
It's a 1-bedroom condo.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was a typo.
We ended up selling that in a week. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. It's something really easy to do in your business. The second thing that's worked really well for us is we build community. These are going to be really short slides here. It's just a couple slides. Like Joe, I created a Facebook page about 5 years ago for my community. Today, I've got over 1,000 members. Joe, I know you have 5,000, but I don't let everybody on. They have to live in the neighborhood, so they don't spam the page. We were getting these duck cleaning, and we were getting.
That's why you're smarter than me, yeah.
No, so I just didn't want to manage it and have to end up deleting stuff every single day. But within the neighborhood, what we've done is we organize like picnics, we organize garage sales, we organize donation drives, organize Earth Day cleanups. We do all of these events, and I'm like at the forefront of that. So instead of telling people that I sell real estate, I'm like, these are the things we do. And when I meet them at these events, what happens is it always comes up that I'm a realtor. So because of all of these things that we've done, I've pretty much cornered my entire market here. We've got 750 homes in my neighborhood. I think that we currently have 4 live lists. There are 4 listings, 2 sold, and I think we've got 4 coming up in the next couple of months. Through that page, we've done ice cream events. We've done a family skate. We did a Waterloo food bank. It's a company down here that collects food for the needy. We volunteered there. At the end of the year, we host a big Christmas party for our entire client database that transacted with us within this year, and that's been like phenomenal for us. One thing I really wanted to highlight was I set up as Pickleball Social last year. And we had, I think, 24 neighbors came out, and I ended up getting a listing from that. Ended up selling and closing the most expensive house in Kitchener last year at $3.7 million. So we build community is what we've actually focused on quite a bit. And I don't like door knocking. I don't like cold calling. So I figured this is kind of the next best thing, and it's worked really well for us. So that's
awesome. Can you go back to the 4 ideas? So I just wanted to point something out here. You guys are the 4 ideas that Tian mentioned. If you would throw that back up, Tian. One of those costs absolutely nothing except for your time. And that's building a community through a Facebook page. So if you don't have the pockets right now, if your business is not where it needs to be and you can't spend Oh, actually, no, of course, and volunteering. So both of those things are things that you could be doing with your time to network and to get to know more people, to be building relationships, to be building community without having to spend any money. And you can become the facilitator of a lot of those local things that are happening in your community without having to be the one that's spending the money. Just become the resource of what's bringing everybody together. So I love.
Well, and I would just add, Aim, like
Yeah.
guys, what's happening here that's so cool is we've talked about this before. Like, it doesn't matter if you like Pilates or cycling or CrossFit or walking or weightlifting. It's like just exercise. We've entered into a world now to where the days of having to dial for dollars are to some degree gone. The dialing part is you have to have conversations that lead to appointments, that lead to showings, that lead to escrows, that lead to closings. Like that part stays the same. But how you create the conversations, whether it's through a community Facebook page, which he could talk about what his name is. Mine is Centennial Hills. Let me see what it's called. Centennial Hills Community Info. That's it. Like that's what our little area in Las Vegas is called. So no matter how you create the conversations, you just have to be creating convos. So whether it's an ice cream social or a Facebook page or a pickleball group, whatever it is, you just have to be creating conversations that lead to appointments, that lead to escrows. Because again, running a community page without people conversing with you about real estate eventually, then you're just like serving your community running a page.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be able to maybe talk really quick if you can about how are you converting some of these endeavors into conversations about real estate?
People just reach out to me directly. During these ice cream events, we say that we sponsor it. Like we say the 10 real estate group sponsors this event, somebody's got to pay for it. And when, let's say the ice cream event there, we have one actually in a couple of weeks. I say that our team sponsors this event, and we get, last year we served 400 scoops of ice cream. This year, we're probably going to serve 500 scoops of ice cream. And the conversation, we never have to bring up real estate conversations because somebody's always coming to us and saying, hey, what do you think my house is worth? So I like that approach better because it's less salesy.
Yeah. No, I love that. And it's just normal and natural, right?
That's right.
Like it's so simple. If we did a community event in Centennial Hills and someone's like, oh yeah, I live in Whitehorse South, I'd be like, oh my gosh, do you know so-and-so down the street? I actually sold them their house. And it's like, you're not then saying, can I sell you your house? You're just saying, oh yeah, do you know the Reynolds family? Oh yeah, they live right there. Cool. Yeah, I helped them find that house and we negotiated a really good deal for them. And so it's like, you're just like using psychology to plug things, but it's not like a sales pitch.
No, it's not. And the referrals that we've gotten because of this has been phenomenal. I can't even keep track of it. Like we are just so busy because of it.
That's awesome.
So those are just two kind of things that we're doing. There's so many more things that we do that's free. And then, like you said, Amy, like Instagram, it's just really one of our biggest drivers.
So guys, I know this about Tien personally because we're going to move on. We have one more person you have to hear from today. Tien, his heart is as big as his real estate business. Like
as his wallet, which is huge.
He's so generous, and I know that if you had a question for him, and he would, if you reached out to him on Instagram, he would be happy to connect with you. So, sure. Tien and Kitchener Waterloo, great referral resource for you with Tien. Thank you so much. We appreciate.
Thanks for having me, guys.
John Powers, we have Mr. Portland. I just made you sound like something.
Yeah, he actually competed in a pageant and he won. He's Mr.
Yeah,
Portland.
I was going to say Mr. Portland. We're not setting the right.
That's awesome.
That came out wrong.
So, Aim, John's a partner of ours. We've been working together now over a year and a half, maybe. Similar backgrounds, like he and I both have a history with Place. Ben and Chris and those guys. John's a community leader, like he's a thought leader. I think they're doing a lot of really cool events up in their area. He's a servant of agents, like he's always looking for opportunities to serve. I know I came up and spoke at an event that he put on and it was awesome. Like the agent engagement, the quality of conversation, like it was so good. So John, he kind of he covers a broad spectrum from production to advertising and marketing concepts to business leadership. Like he is able to speak on a lot of different levels. So I'm excited to hear from John today.
Yeah, thanks for the intro. Yeah, what's funny is that so 25 years into this career, I've gone through a couple of iterations of what it looks like, right? From being like literally, I was like the Angie, or which I always love, Angie. Thank you for sharing. From being an agent on a team to running teams to honestly full circle becoming what like I would just call like a solo real estate agent. So maybe I can bring some of that perspective to the call a little bit.
Yeah, take it
So
away, John.
yeah. So like I said, I've gone through a couple of different iterations, going back into a business of where, because I've coached, I've managed teams, going back into a production, I almost had to be like, okay, what do I do? How do I reinvent myself here? So, and it's funny is that if I take another takeaway from this call is that Jimmy Mackin is somebody that you should follow. So I was actually jumped on a RocketFuel call. This was like a year ago when I'd first joined, and I think we had Jimmy on the call, and he talked about his ZMA strategy. So in terms of tactics, the ZMA strategy was one that when I got back into, hey, I need to get into conversation with my database again, but quite frankly, I've abandoned it. It had been a long time since I had done some touches. When I heard Jimmy's ZMA strategy, I was like, okay, this is one that's going to be, I think my title rep was like, hey, you should mail or drop off a whole bunch of like little stuffed elephants, so like pop by elephants, and say something like, hey, there's an elephant in the room. It's because I haven't touched base in a while. And I was like, okay, that could work. But for me, I just want to get into conversation and dialogue a little sooner. So what I did was, and how many people here have heard of the ZMA? Like Tien, it's like I'm not resharing anything here that's like absolutely hasn't been done before. So this was not my idea. But I literally just picked up the phone and I went on through my database and selected 10 people that I'm like, okay, I had good relationship with these people. I just haven't touched base. So I took a screenshot of their house on Zillow just from my phone, went on to Zillow, went into their property address, took a screenshot of it, highlighted the price, and just sent it off to them. The script's super easy. Just said, hey, this is what Zillow has for your homes. I have some thoughts. I'm curious. What are your thoughts? Super easy. From that text, I sent it out to 10 people. I got 8 responses. I ended up getting 2 listings out of it within a month.
Wow.
So that strategy itself was a really easy way for me to dialogue with my database. Like when I was doing my business plan this year, I was like, okay, because I did it all through ChatGPT. If you guys, like it's the best way for me for doing business plans. I was chatting with AI and just saying, hey, these are the things that I'm good at. These are the things that I know that I don't want to do. And one of them was like, well, you should just text your database. And so the ZMA strategy was absolutely amazing. And you can actually use that as a drop off or a mailer as well. For people that don't have like a ton of money, you go and you print off the first page of the Zillow screenshot and just use a little sticky note, put the sticky note with that same exact script. And you could literally just drop that off around your neighborhood. You could mail it out to people. But that was probably what got me back into production the most, to the point where, quite frankly, I had to kind of peel back on some of the text because, like I said, I'm a solo agent, so I'm doing everything. So I got a little overwhelmed with business.
It's a good problem to have. Somebody's asking, people are saying they're not familiar with the ZMA. That would be American for those of you that are.
Oh, yeah.
If you always want to touch, and then do you reach out to homeowners after the ZMA strategy? Do you send them to only people in your database?
So for me, I started off with just people in my database as a re-entering. But I'm in a new construction neighborhood now where they're starting to get some turnover. So paying my kids, I've got a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old that'll go and just actually drop these off on doors with little sticky notes. So it's turned into a mail drop-off piece at my neighborhood.
Okay. Can you repeat the script or drop it into the chat after?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. There's actually what I'll do, Amy, is there's 3 kind of follow-up scripts that you can go into, and the other component too is, so I had those 8 conversations, got into dialogue that way. A lot of them just wanted to get like a baseline equity position in their home so that we could just establish a value. If you've sold a house to somebody in the last 5 years, hopefully we're seeing that there's a little bit of an increase, right? Especially if you sold them something maybe pre-COVID. So just helping people establish their baseline equity is a really good way to get back into dialogue with people. Because again, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think using Zillow is so brilliant. So if I was going to knock doors in 2025, I would 100% wear a Zillow t-shirt. If I was going to do an open house in 2025, I would 100% wear a Zillow t-shirt because it's just disarming. And when somebody goes like, "Oh, you work with Zillow," I'd say, "Oh yeah, we do a ton with them." I mean, like the loosest sense. But if somebody knocks on my door wearing an Amazon shirt, I'm like, "Oh yeah, what's up?" Like, right? And they may go like, "Oh, I'm here to sell pest control." I'm like, "Wait, why do you have an Amazon shirt on?" Right? Like it may trip me out a little bit. But if I open the door and they're wearing an Amazon or a FedEx shirt, I'm gonna go like, "Hey, how can I help you?" Where if somebody's wearing something else, like, so where do you get Zillow t-shirts? I would just literally send the Zillow logo to a t-shirt guy and say, "Hey, create a bunch of these shirts for me." And like and the worst case scenario is someone's going to open the door or come to an open house. And John, you're using this in the digital form, right? Like, "Hey, Zillow says your house is worth X. I'm not sure I agree with it. What do you think?" Like you're using Zillow as a safe harbor, like a place where, like, whether we like it or not, Zillow is basically the chapstick of real estate. Chapstick is a brand, not a product. Zillow is a brand, not a product, but they've done such a good job with market saturation. Sorry, I could go on a whole diatribe, but I would just use, I think you're smart for using Zillow to create the conversation. And my advice to agents would be, I would do the exact same thing with open house and door knocking and whenever else.
Yeah, because it's familiar with them. And that's all I wanted to do is just breaks down the barriers. They see a Zillow, they're used to seeing that. And plus, I'm just sending a screenshot. I'm not sending a link to Zillow to 5 other agents, right? I'm just literally using a screenshot. So that's the other key. Don't
I
put
would
the link
never
to their
send a
home.
Zillow
Don't
link to another human being.
don't Zillow
I
link.
would never do that. You see people, sorry guys, but you see people do this on Facebook. They're like, "Hey, I just listed this house at 123 Main Street with a link to Zillow." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. 5 Zillow Flex agents just got phone calls because you chose to use that link." It's crazy. So it's like, use Zillow on your terms.
Absolutely. The other thing that honestly, this one's not sexy. I wanted to start and make sure I got the ZMA out there. But I'm in constant dialogue with my business plan for 2025. And I think that we do these business plans. I think that for like all of us that have done one, hopefully we've all done one. Honestly, like this is the time, like revisit it, right? Like, am I doing everything on my business plan that I thought? What were the results of my business plan? So I did all of mine through, I use AI because, right, solo agent, I use a lot of AI. My entire business plan is in ChatGPT. All of my conversion ratios are in ChatGPT. Like Chat knows how many open houses I need to do to get 10 listings, to get 10 closings. And so when I'm constantly in dialogue with it, "Hey, this is where I was at the end of the first quarter. Here's my production. Here's my conversion ratios." Now, okay, so before this, ZMA was not a strategy in my business plan, to be honest, this year, which it should have been because it got me so many deals. And so I just said, I entered that in. I said, "Hey, here's the ZMA strategy. I want to incorporate this into my business plan. Last time I did this text, I got these results. If I wanted 20 listings, how many texts do I need to send?" And it spits out everything for you.
You want to know one of the most impactful things that we've changed as a team in the last, I think we did it last year and we're doing it, and we're already halfway into this year, is that we are reviewing our business plan every quarter now. We used to do once a year business planning. We did it mid to end of November for the year following, and then we never looked at it again until the next year. Now we're doing it every single quarter. So at the end, we call them advances because we look back, but we're looking like what needs to change for the quarter to come. It's so impactful to just be constantly reminding yourself what you committed to, why you committed to it, where do you need to adjust. the saying that always says the future is in your past. So it's like looking back and knowing what worked, what didn't, and what do I need to change for the future. I would highly recommend it. We're getting ready at the end of June to do our summer advance. We're going to look back at Q2 and we're going to look ahead at what needs to happen over the next number of months.
Yeah, and I just posted the longest Amazon link of all time, and I tried to grab it really quick. But
12-week year,
if you guys,
exactly.
the 12-week year is amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, should you even focus on a year? That's the question. And it's like, you probably shouldn't. You should probably go, what am I going to do in the next 12 weeks? And then I'm going to revisit and then go, okay, what's the next 12 weeks? 12 weeks is long enough. And if you read the book, it's amazing. 12 weeks is long enough to give you some 30,000 foot view without getting so big that, like, if you've got a year goal, you can mail in a month and still think you're going to hit it. If you've got a 12-week goal, if you take 4 weeks off, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Really, really good. That's really smart, John.
Well, and then it also just gives you, like, for me, like, there's so many things we can do in our day. But if I'm revisiting my business plan and saying, okay, honestly, I said I was going to do these 5 things. Actually, 2 of these things are producing 90% of the results. Why don't I just start to really focus on these 2 things?
Yeah.
And just like, am I really going to do that whole strategy that I set off in like October? Like, no, I'm not. Let's just get real and get right with things and then just push forward. So I'm like coaching for teams. I was a big numbers. I just had like everybody know your numbers, know your conversion ratios. Because when it just becomes a simple math formula, like when I put in the ZMA strategy, it said I need to text 50 people to get 20 listings. That was based because these are like, right, that's my results because these were my clients that I've helped in the past. But it's all of a sudden that goes, oh, okay, that's 5 a week. Like, just makes it simple. And right, like you hear, it's simple, it's not easy, but just revisiting your business plan, I think, can accelerate you and make sure you're either on track or above goal.
Yeah, absolutely. We shared the info link that you mentioned before the call is over. Yeah, we can drop that. Actually, why don't we give John a chance to do that? Joe, do you want to talk about next week? Because then one of the main things that people are struggling with is where to find business, where to get leads, conversion, things like that. And I know that's what you're going to be diving into.
Yeah, so next week I'm going to talk about all of what we do to generate a profitable business. I've learned in my 20 years in real estate, like we can't pay Zillow, we can't pay realtor.com, we can't pay realty.com. I'm out of production. I split my commissions, or the commissions generated with agents that close the deals. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the economics of success, a little bit about return on investment, and I'm going to share with you some of the strategies we use to generate in-house leads, closing at a similar rate as a Zillow or realtor.com lead, but our cost per closing, at Zillow might be $8,000, where doing it in-house, we get it down around $1,000. And so we generate.
So who is that session? So who is that session for?
I would say anyone other than team members. And team members can tune in if they want, but if you're a solo practitioner, 100% for you. If you're a team leader, 100% for you. So team members might get a little bored just because they're like, well, yeah, I just need my team lead to give me more Zillow Flex deals. It's going to be a little anti-Zillow, a little anti-realtor.com, but it's going to show you, I'm going to show you exactly why. And John, you know this, RealTrend's top teams in every market, half of them are completely broke. The top 10 teams, maybe 2 or 3 of those teams make money, 2 or 3 of them break even, and 2 or 3 of those teams are losing money every single year. And it's because companies like Zillow and Realtor.com keep feasting upon your business, building dependence in you, and the economics don't work unless you're closing the deals yourself. So I'm going to talk a lot about that stuff.
Awesome. John, Tien, Angie, thank you so much. Guys, this is going to be a great month, all focused on production. Let's just make sure that we're setting ourselves up for an amazing rest of 2025. We have something very special coming, an announcement coming about an event that you do not want to miss, that you can tune into from anywhere in North America. Make sure you're following at United Community. I'm going to drop that into the chat, or if somebody could drop that into the chat for me while I'm talking. we are going to be announcing something that's coming incredible on Wednesday, June the 25th, that you will want to save the date. Do not miss it. Make sure you're following at United Community or myself and Joe this week, because you're going to want to get those details. John, thank you so much. Tien and Angie.
Thanks, Johnny.
Amazing. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next Monday.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.